It's acres and move makers.
It's acres and move makers.
I deal with land flippers, acres and move makers, room shakers, big boys with huge paper, the newspapers. You can run but can't escape us. We winning with these flash green when they act racist. Success is so contagious.
Let's go. It's acres and move makers.
Welcome to Acres and Move Makers. My name is Ray.
My name is Jay.
And we are
the Acre Boyzz.
Today, you are coming along this brand new journey with us. This is our first episode of our Acres and Move Makers podcast. So we want to explain to you exactly who we are, where we came from, how we got our start, and bring you up to current date of the things we have accomplished and what we are doing in current date.
So here's what y'all need to understand, right? Whenever you're in a capacity or inside of a space where you don't like what you're doing, your natural feeling that you're going to get inside of you is to go ahead and make a shift if you're smart, right? Unless you're comfortable with being in the same place. But that wasn't us, right? What we started to do, being our respective fields, and my field, I'll let my partner go into what he was doing later. And my field, I was a sanitation truck driver, right? And I was driving a truck, I was doing my sanitation daily duties every day. On the other side of that, I also worked in a mortgage office, right? We were doing mortgages. So what I used to do, I went and worked my sanitation job in the morning. After I got off of there, I would clean up and then I would go to the office, right? Now, here's what you got to understand, right? If you're doing two jobs and what you're doing in that capacity, what starts to happen is if I'm doing two of them, that means I'm not making enough. So the conversation between me and him will always said, what can we do in order to generate more income, right? So we started to ask ourselves this question, and all y'all might know, you know what I'm about to say next, we started to follow the lead of actual mentorship, right? Because if you don't have people that's around your circle who are doing things completely different, what's going to happen inside of that space is you're all going to have the same conversation. The only one that qualifies to have a different conversation is somebody who's getting different results. I'll say that one more time. The only person that qualifies to have a different conversation is somebody who's getting different results. So as we started to look for mentorship, it always came back to real estate for us. We had a credit repair business. We had a debt consolidation business. None of those things worked for us, but it always came back to real estate because he's flipped a house or two or three. I've done so. I have a house background and different things like that. Now, we started to look into what we call the land business, right? We started to drive down that hole of what we call YouTube University and looking for people that were doing different things that we can get around a whole different environment, right? So as we started to do this, what started to happen was we started to look for opportunities inside of that space, and we came into something with this guy saying tax deed investing, right? So with tax deed investing, we had no idea what it was. You'll constantly hear us reiterate this throughout these podcasts, right? You got to understand the primary resource to any real estate transaction starts with the dirt. When I was in the mortgage, I was so focused on the houses, forgetting about the primary asset that it sat on. Now, have I heard about tax deeds before? Absolutely, but I've never seen anybody actually do it. So we started watching this guy on YouTube for a long period of time, and we said, you know what? Let's go ahead and call him and let's see what the information that he has for us in order for us to possibly start a new venture or do something different.
Well, and my journey began as just looking to do something on a high level. I always felt that I was special. I always felt that as a younger man that I would go on and do great things in life and I would achieve a lot of money. But unbeknownst to me, money has a language, right? And if you're not speaking that language, or if you're not surrounded by those different circumstances or those different avenues that's going to lead you to the type of money that you want to be led to, you're just going to be like a hamster on the wheel. Like so many other people, I was in that rat race. By trade, I was a union stagehand worker. We set up shows, right? And I thought as a child, if I can just make $100,000, as a teenager should I say, if I can make $100,000, I thought that I had struck gold. I thought that I would be living on Easy Street, and I thought I would have the life that I desired, right? Well, I went on to make $100,000 on that job, and $100,000 didn't feel any different from $60,000. I just was able to pay a couple more bills on time. Maybe I was able to stay in a better hotel room than I would have if I was making $60,000 a year. The system is designed for you to think that way. The system is designed, it's like dangling a carrot in front of you to keep you coming back.
For sure.
Right?
Dependent.
To keep you dependent on them. And we're not having this conversation to tell anyone that a job isn't a good thing. Because we have to have a way to provide for ourselves. This is just our personal story, because everyone don't have dreams or aspire to go on and do anything great. Some people are comfortable in their circumstances.
For sure.
We weren't. We knew that we wanted to do something that was great. We wanted to do something that was impactful. We wanted to do something that would change the trajectory of both our families' lives. So as I was working my 9-to-5 job, me and Jay, we were already friends. We were always in talks about what could we do. We were searching. And first you don't succeed, keep trying, because we've tried different things. And as you keep trying, eventually that bow will break. As you keep trying. You know, when I say keep trying, I mean you can't stop and have a year off. It was no breaks like that. You may be a week off or 2 off. And as he stated, we stumbled into mentorship about the land investing world, and this world was something that we had never heard about. The importance of this space that we in is something that has been tested, is something that has been tried, and I'm super excited and comfortable to be playing in an asset class that has been proven and tested, because what does that say to us? That says if it worked for the other millions before us, it could work for us. All we have to do is implement the steps that those before us had implemented, and don't give up. That's the key to all the success that we've ever had. Have we made mistakes? Absolutely, we made mistakes. Have we got it wrong? Absolutely, we got it wrong. The only thing that you're seeing on the screen is 2 brothers that didn't stop. We just didn't stop, and we kept going. So we didn't make the same mistake twice. We didn't go down the same wrong avenue 2 times. We were smart enough to say, well, that didn't work. Let's pivot and try something else inside of the same space. So we find that most people, they're not willing to go through the fire to come out on the other end. And that's just the truth of the matter. Everybody has the poke it with a stick method. They want to see if it works. How many times did you try it? Jay, how many times do people try things and before they say it didn't work?
The average time somebody tries something before they determine that it doesn't work is 1 time. Just once.
So as we was on our journey, we stumbled into this space and we took mentorship, right? And we're not here to try to persuade anybody, because we do run a program. And this is not, this podcast is not to persuade you to come along the journey with us. It truly isn't. Clearly, if those that see the value in what we offer, I don't have to even give an invite. You'll invite yourself to come be alongside the journey. We're just telling what our personal story was. Mentorship is what has led us to this point. Before there was the Acre Boyzz, it was just 1 and 2 trying to figure things out. And the mentorship, without that mentorship, I doubt we'll be having this conversation right now. So I have immense amount of respect for those that put the program together. And culturally, they didn't look like us. Did they treat us right? Absolutely. They treated us right, because they gave us the game on a silver platter, and all we had to do is follow the steps, and voila, and that's what it looks like. That's why we tell everybody the cheat code is really find something. Well, let's explain this correctly. First, know what it is that you desire. What is it that you desire? What dollar amount that you desire? What is something that moves you? Because when we were looking for something to do, our first mentor told us, I'm gonna show you, should I say, 6 streams of income. And then he retracted that and said, well, I can show you 6 streams of income, but if you don't resonate with each of these streams, you're gonna be outside of it just as fast as you were inside of it. So what resonates with you? If real estate isn't for you, maybe land isn't something that you want to do. Just because you can make money in land, but if real estate is something that you never aspired to be involved with, you probably shouldn't go down that that lane, right? Maybe stocks, maybe crypto, maybe something else, maybe AI. It's a lot of different things out there. So what resonates with you first? Second, make sure whatever resonates with you depicts the kind of earnings that you want to receive. How much money do you want to make? Do you want to make $100,000? Do you want to make $500,000? Do you want to make $1 million? And now for most of us, new beginners, they're not going to be able to see themselves realistically. We say these things, but realistically, most of us don't see ourselves making $1 million or making $2 million. So let it depict the income that you want to make. And then third, find someone you resonate with that speaks your native tongue and opt into their mentorship. And that's my advice.
Yeah, for sure. That's what I would say. Remember, y'all, environment is everything, right? If you don't have anything around to stretch you, it is my recommendation for you to get around somebody who's going to stretch you, right? And I'll say this from a lot of different points, right? One of the standpoints is, I know in our culture, in our community, we are totally adverse to spending money. A lot of times, right? You see, a lot of times we'll spend money on a vacation. We'll spend money on buying a car or spend money on all these things, but spending money on a course or curriculum that can actually change the trajectory of your life is something completely different. This is why we want to normalize the word mentorship. This is why we want to normalize plugging in with people who have already proven through results that they are masters inside of their actual field, right? Anybody that asks us to cheat code all the time, the cheat code is to get the mentorship. The mentorship is what you're going to say. It's going to consolidate time frames. There are no trophies for figuring any of this stuff out on your own. You don't get anything. The most important asset that you have, period, is your time. We can always make more money. So why in the world would I ever go ahead and try to figure it out on my own 4, 5, 6, maybe even 10 years when I have somebody who's already went through all the steps, the procedures, the processes that could get me to my desired result in 6 to 7 months. Now it's up to you. Now if you're one of those kind of people that want to go do that, I'm not trying to tell you what to do. We're just giving you our experience based off of what has happened for us and what has actually moved the needle.
So up to date. Through mentorship, these days we have completed over 500 land transactions. We do run a program. Our program has been active, now headed into the 3rd year. We have helped thousands of people, some that have opted into the program, some that had just gotten free knowledge from us. We have informed a lot of people about this space. And keep in mind, this is not a popular space, right? The numbers, when this culture was thriving, we were thriving the most when we were prevalent in land ownership and farming, right? So we have gotten so far away from that because up to date we own less than 3% of all commercial land, less than 2% of all agricultural land, and less than 1% of all farmland. So that does say, data doesn't lie. That data says that we are last, right? So this is not a popular space. This is not a popular topic. Over the last few years, what we have been doing, we have been making it popular. We've seen it grow. We've seen more people now doing posts about it on social media and things like that. And I hope it continues to grow because ultimately it's not about the Acre Boyzz. This is about this culture tapping into something that can actually help, something that's practical and something that has proven that once we apply these methods and technologies to them and techniques to them, it worked. It has been working since the early 1900s, since the beginning of time. Land ownership is what this country is built on, and that's just a fact, and nobody can refute that. This goes back to kings and queens days. If you watch any old time movie or study any old book, every wealthy family has what in their portfolio? A piece of land, several acres, or a farm inside of their portfolio. And America was designed that way. So that's how important it is. And along this journey, you're going to hear us talk about different things. We're going to talk about mindset. We're going to talk about land ownership. We're going to talk about techniques and the strategies we use to buy land. We're going to talk about saving money. We're going to talk about everything that's positive. We're going to talk about farming. Everything that's positive that's going to move the culture and move you. We will discuss on here. Feel free to ask us any questions. Drop them below. Your feedback is necessary. Why is your feedback necessary? Because there's no blueprint for what 1 and 2 are doing. you are looking at the blueprint. It's happening in front of your eyes.
Real
We're
time.
curating it in real time. You can't go anywhere and say, hey, this is what they did to make land popular, because it hasn't happened yet. So you're looking at the blueprint, and your feedback is necessary.
For sure.
For us to know what our audience is thinking, so we know what avenue to bring to social media and things like that. So welcome along the journey.
Yeah, sure.
We are the Acre Boyzz,
That's right.
Get familiar with the motto. If you don't know it, invest in dirt.
It's the cleanest way to make money.
We'll see you on the next one.